within a month, she had sold 50 memberships and added like 75 grand to her contracted revenue. Those things are all things that carry a liability on your balance sheet. 80% of women surveyed are more likely to upgrade their treatments or purchase retail if they're on a membership. Your next client is your next member.
Are there any other salon owners out there lying awake at night thinking about cash? I know I certainly did, and I had many sleepless nights as a salon owner trying to think of fun packages and exciting ways to bring new clients as well as bringing existing clients back into the salon. But what if there was a way to make an extra $75,000 and you don't even need to think of a whole new foil and facial package? You'd have guaranteed cash coming in every single month, and your clients would be happy and more willing to purchase upgrades and products. Like everybody is better off. Would you want to know what that is? I'm excited because I'm chatting to Jo. She is the co-founder of Aglow, and we're going to discuss why you need this one tool in your salon. Like, you need it now. But really quick before we start, I wanted to let you know that this episode is brought to you by the Motivating Managers program. The Motivating Managers program gives salon owners the strategies and tools to have a manager that can lead the daily operations so you can step into your role as a salon CEO. You'll build trust with your manager, maybe even go on a holiday. 6 weeks, anybody? Now, how good would that be? All right, let's get into the episode with Jo on how she successfully increased monthly revenue by $75,000. It's a goodie. Jo, thank you so much for joining me on the Salon Owners Collective podcast. Nice to have you here.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to be here.
And before we get started, I would love for you to share where are you in the world? What do you do? How did you get to be doing that? But before you do that, you and I go way back. Many moons ago, we worked together at Kutumba Salon Software, and then we both subsequently worked at another amazing, awesome software. So we have a lot in common. But I'm going to hand it over to you. What do you do, Jo, and how did you get here?
So good question. Well, I work in beauty tech, and that term, I think, was originally coined by Timely, where I was previously the Chief Product Officer and Chief Marketing Officer, and we decided, actually, instead of being software that serves the beauty industry, we're beauty tech. We're part of the beauty industry, and that's how we built our brand. But today I am a co-founder of Aglow, which is a membership management platform for the beauty industry. So yeah, how I got here kind of indicated where I've come from. Kutumba with you, Larissa, back in the day, and then went on to Xero, so a really high growth technology startup at the time. And from Xero, I went back into beauty tech at Timely. So I was Chief Product Officer, Chief Marketing Officer there. And then Timely was acquired in 2021. I left in 2022 and have eventually co-founded Aglow with Carl. We launched Aglow in April 2023.
I love that. Well, let's start with what is Aglow and why should we care about it?
Yeah. So Aglow is a technology platform that helps beauty businesses and here beauty clinics, spas, like you name it, people that serve people in the beauty industry. We help them we'll create and run beauty membership programs. We make it easy for them to create those memberships. We make it easy for them to look after clients on those memberships. We take the admin away from businesses that want to offer memberships to their clients, which has been going really well. We've had such amazing feedback from the community.
So let's start with what is a membership and why should I need it in my business? And also, I guess, just cover off too, like what a membership is not.
Yeah, great question. I think maybe I'll start with what a membership isn't, because that's quite interesting. Like one of the things that I have observed since beginning in this space, and to be clear, when I was at Timely, memberships was the number one request that we had, and so it was very much on my radar. This idea of recurring payments. So you had this, you had your most loyal clients locked into recurring payments, and you could have greater certainty about your cash flow. So there's some of the kind of benefits that I'll get into. But what memberships aren't, and something that I don't think is very clear, is when we talk about memberships, we often hear the term packages. Sometimes we hear concessions, and sometimes we hear credits. So there's like all of these terms thrown around memberships that isn't quite what we believe a membership is. And I'll get onto what a membership is in a second. But just to kind of clarify packages versus concessions versus credits, those things are all things that carry a liability on your balance sheet. So if you sell a package to a client and it involves like 3 or 4 skin treatments or 3 or 4 hair appointments and other things like maybe some products and extra perks, your client is paying for all of that upfront. So you're putting that cash in your bank account straight away, and that feels really good because you've got all this cash in your bank account. But then you actually have to serve those services to that client, and that's when it can become a bit tricky, because if you've already spent that cash and you don't have a full appointment book of clients coming in and spending with you, then cash can get tricky. And I think that cash flow is probably one of the biggest pain points that we experience in this industry. It's certainly what I've observed working with thousands of clinics and salons over the years, is cash is the thing that keeps you awake at night. So yeah, selling a package feels good when you bank lots of money up front, but then making sure that you're able to serve clients is really important. Same with concessions. So like a concession is where you kind of maybe sell 10 services and or sell 9 services and get the 10th one free, for example. You're probably selling that upfront and serving them over time. And you're also probably discounting because you've got to give that free service away. So this industry discounts a lot. And that's something that I've observed over the years, starting back in the day with Grab Ones and Groupons and all those awful things that promised new clients and loyalty and didn't actually deliver. So we're not about discounting. We're not about giving service value away. And we're also not about putting a liability on your balance sheet, which brings me to credits. So it's kind of similar, where like a client might pay $50 a week every week over the course of the year, and that $50 accumulates week after week after week, or month after month after month. And then at the end of the year, the client could be like, cool, I want to redeem. And so you've got this massive liability on your balance sheet and you have to redeem it. Like you're obliged to. So that is a risk. And it's a risk if you want to sell your business as well, because that is a liability that your potential buyer needs to be aware of and take into account before they actually purchase it, which actually impacts the value of your business. So there's some problems with those sorts of models. Now, a membership with a glow is, what we advocate for is that it's more like a Netflix subscription. So you're paying every month or every week or every fortnight for a set of inclusions and perks that come with your membership. And if you don't use it in the time slots that are allocated to you, you lose it. It doesn't roll over. It is gone. So it's like more like a gym membership or like a Netflix subscription where, you're paying every month to access inclusions and perks. And if you don't make the most of it, then it's gone. But what we see actually is that it really commits the client to show up. So you don't have the no-shows that often impact your cash flow. And you also have that predictable contracted revenue. And I think contract is really important and something that not everyone's aware of. So when you sign up a client to an Aglow membership, we take care of the legal contract for that membership, which means that if they default, we are able, on your behalf, to chase them for that defaulted money and to make sure that you get paid or are able to take action, or you choose what you want to do, but we'll do it on your behalf. So there's a few like things and that are wrapped up in there that maybe we can dive a bit deeper into, but I feel like I've talked long enough for now.
I think the positioning of the membership is kind of a game changer, actually. That like a gym membership or a Netflix membership, you use or lose. Although I'm sure you don't promote it in that way, it's like and even the word inclusion, like that's super powerful. These are things that are included. These are the things you have access to. Take it or leave it, and you can take or leave the different services on offer. And what I love most about that model, Joe, is the engagement from the client. That really builds a loyal client, I would say, versus you're just paying off a bunch of services that you've committed to, and now the salon owner feels like they're over a barrel to fit that client into the time frame when I'm thinking about old membership styles, which is really actually falls under some of those previous things. So I love the flexibility it gives to the client and to the owner, but actually it builds loyalty over anything else.
I just think it's a win-win for both sides. So like from the business perspective, you have got locked in, like you can forecast your revenue, which means that you can plan forward. And if, an example is you add, 20 members on like a membership package, a 6-month membership package, and say that package is worth $1,500. That's like almost $60 per member per week that you've got in your bank account, which is over 1,000. At 20 members, it's over $1,000 a week that you are guaranteed to have hit your bank account consistently. And that means that you can forward plan. You can go, well, I know for the next 6 months that I've got, a cash flow of 2,000 a week guaranteed, plus my other, retail spend and other clients that are coming in that aren't on memberships. Although I do think everyone should be on a membership eventually. Yeah. So it means that you can really plan your business, how you spend your money. Like, can I afford to hire more staff? Can I afford to upgrade my equipment? Can I afford to take that lease on that bigger location to serve these new members? Like you can actually know that stuff with certainty, and by knowing that stuff, it means you can incentivize your team on adding new members and knowing that is recurring, predictable revenue that you can guarantee comes in each week. So there's just so much power from the business side. And then from the client side, so I am not the stylist or the skin therapist. Like I'm not in the industry. I serve the industry. I am the client and I love it. Like for me, there are two things that I like a lot about it. Three things actually. One is that it works with my budget because like pre-memberships, I have a bank account and I put or like a separate kind of hair and beauty bank account, and I would put $50. Every payday I'd put some money into that bank account, and when it was time to get my hair done or get whatever else done, all the things, I would know that I had that money set aside. So great for me to budget my services, and by doing it with a membership, that money is hitting the business's account instead of sitting in my account. So it's like an easier way for me to commit to the things. And I know like I've already paid for it. It's prepaid. It's not paid afterwards. It's not a buy now, pay later thing. It is a prepaid schedule that you've committed to. And yeah, so I'm accessing those services. I've got that commitment. The budget is good. And I'm treated like a VIP because most memberships have inclusions or perks and inclusions that make me feel good about being a loyal client to that business, which means, like I get preferential booking or I get like a 5% discount on retail. Like I'm not pro discounting, but a little bit of a discount on retail is always nice. And yeah, there are just like other things that make me feel good about being a client, like a member of a business. So like there's just like, it just feels very win-win to me.
Yeah, for sure. And the average person, unlike you, Joe, does not have a dedicated beauty account and is that organized. And so this kind of organizes them without them having to feel like I have to save up for things. And I know from watching behavior is people on memberships actually spend more because they're not feeling like they're parting with $200 or $300 right now, and they're more likely to upgrade and take other things outside of the core membership.
Yeah, that's so we actually did a consumer research study a couple of months ago in Australia. So we surveyed 1,010 specifically, 1,010 women aged 18 to 60, just to kind of like understand their consumer behaviors. And we, yeah, I think something like, and I'm recalling off the top of my head, sorry, might not be exact, but like over 80% of women surveyed are more likely to upgrade their treatments or purchase retail if they're on a membership because it is already paid for. So you don't feel like you're walking. It's kind of the Uber experience where you don't have to hand over, you don't have to muck around after your treatment where you're feeling really good and then suddenly you've got to fork over a few $100s, which feels less good versus actually just walking out at the end of your appointment without paying anything or buying that extra like product or getting that service upgrade. It just really feels like you've got permission to kind of treat yourself.
For sure, because I'm not parting with 300, but I can part with an extra 40 because I actually have that. And it does feel like, oh, I'm getting this free today. What would you say is one of the easiest things about installing this into the salon culture? And then what would be a common challenge that actually you know how to overcome, but you can sort of foresee that sometimes this is a challenge?
Yeah. So in terms of how easy it is, the way that we like to encourage our customers when they're joining a Glow is to not worry about having a big launch event, don't spend time planning the thing. It is your next conversation with your next client. That's where we've seen the most success. Like if you start to overthink it and go, I need to do X, Y, and Z, here are 50 things, I need to put them on my website, I need to do X, Y, and Z, plan a party and make sure we've got the champagne. Like, cool, you can do those things, but it doesn't stop you from introducing clients to memberships at their next appointment. So your next client is your next member. That's what I like to think. That's how I like to think about things, and it's the best results come through the consultation conversation. Like if you're having everybody has the consultation conversation right at the start of the appointment. And once you know what your clients' goals are, and most clients, again, this came through in our consumer research, most clients come in with a goal. They have an objective that they want to achieve, and that could be achieved over multiple appointments, or it could be achieved in one appointment. But like if it's a skin focused goal, or if they want to go from very dark hair to very light hair, you might need a few appointments to achieve that. And actually letting clients know that they can access their goals through a membership is a personal conversation that you can have with your client that takes away that kind of vibe of having to sell something. You're not selling it. You're sort of listening to them and hearing what their goals are and providing them with an accessible way to achieve that goal.
Hey, Salon CEO, just jumping in here to say thanks again for joining me on the podcast. I hope you're enjoying this episode so far. Just one quick question. Do you ever find yourself talking to your team or working on the daily, I call it the shit that comes up, and thinking, wait a minute, why isn't my manager doing this? Or my manager never does it right. So I have some strategies for you. The Motivating Managers program will help you lead your manager to success so that they can manage your team, manage daily operations, sort out the clients, even when you're not there. Because you can't become $1 million business or even break through the 500K roadblock if you're stuck in daily operations. Now, did I mention we also help support your manager when you're not there? I'm taking a 6-week holiday around Europe, knowing that your manager has everything under control. Let's hop on a Salon Mastery call. We'll discuss your business, your team, your manager, and make a plan to help you reach the $1 million mark. All you need to do is find the button Apply Now. It's in the show notes of this very episode, and we'll book a time. We'll have a quick strategy call. All right, that's enough from me. Let's get back to the episode.
To me, that's really nice. Like, I don't like being sold to. Nobody likes selling in this industry that I know. Like, the number of ick conversations that I have with people that are very anti this selling vibe. But yeah, if you pitch it around like helping the client achieve their goals and treating them like a VIP in the process, this is like it's win-win. So I think the next client is your next member. Do it in the consultation. Make it personal. I think where we see package or template memberships, that's a lot harder because it's sort of one size fits all, or you try and come up with 100 different templates to make sure you're speaking to everybody. With a Glow, you can create personalized membership, so it's specific to that client, and we take you through the setup of that membership and help you manage it from that point. So it's not like a big overhead to have individual memberships instead of like replica memberships across your own entire client base. So that's where we see a lot of wins. Yeah, and then the challenges, like what should I include in my membership, is the question that we get asked all the time. And again, if you bring it back to what does the client want to achieve, then it's very natural about what those inclusions are. Like you're the expert. If you are having a proper consultation conversation with your client, understanding what their goals are, you can turn that into a membership for that specific client. And then you've probably got your like always on inclusion. So the VIP booking's nice. The discount on retail, like you can add those little extras in that make them feel good. But the actual service inclusions is based on you, the expert, telling me, the client, what I need and how often I need
I
it.
really love that. I really love that, being completely personal, and that feels like even a next level again. I really feel like memberships are really the saving grace in the future for this industry. Why don't you give us an example? I know you work with hair and beauty salons. Do you want to give us an example of a salon that's doing it really well? Like, what would it look like? Give us a bird's eye view.
Yeah. So we had a client. I guess it's okay for me to share who it is because she actually did some media for us. So hopefully, Tennille, if you're listening, you're all good. She owns Little Birdie Salon in Queensland. Well, there's a number of salons. She signed up to a Glow in April this year, 2024, and within a month, she had sold 50 memberships and added like 75 grand to her contracted revenue through, and she's a hair business. So when I think about memberships and who succeeds, we probably have more like skin clinics using a Glow and succeeding because it's really results driven. You know, the client has a skin goal and then they want to maintain that goal. And so that works really well. But it was so cool to see this hair business really understand memberships. And we didn't tell her what the playbook was. She just got it, which was like blew my mind entirely. It was personalized memberships. The client is in the chair. They're listening to those goals. They're putting together a treatment plan or a series of appointments in order to achieve those goals, turning it into a membership that gives that client added value for going the membership route and gives them a budget-friendly option to do it where, you know, like, let's be real, cost of living is hard right now. Things are not easy for anybody. And so if we can make it easier and more accessible for clients to maintain the things that are important to them, like their hair and looking good and feeling good, we should be prioritizing that. So Tennille at Little Birdie, we've got a case study on our website and probably on our social media as well. So if you want to hear from her directly, like how she did it, she incentivized her team. She's got some great ideas around how to like incentivize the team to get behind it, and really ramped up and sold an incredible number of memberships in a small space of time and locked in that revenue and that client experience. So yeah, go check her out. Yeah, and it's just all personal. It's not like put this, this, and this into your membership and then sell it on your website. Like that's, some people can do that. I think that's a harder hill to climb, to try and package something up and sell it on your website than it is to have that one-on-one conversation with your client.
Yeah. And really you're looking at it as a retention strategy rather than a new client acquisition strategy.
Yeah, like when I think about, loyalty, memberships don't create loyalty, they solidify loyalty. So, like, you need to still get like, you need to get that client through your door and you need to give them an exceptional experience that means that they loved what they received and they would like to come back. So, there's still the onus on you, the business owner and business, to deliver the experience to the client and wow them. So it doesn't solve that, but like if you know your stuff, then you're probably already doing that. And it's really about how do you solidify that experience into something that is, really focused around building long-term loyalty and consistency. I think memberships just really helps give a structure to loyalty rather than like create it in itself.
Amazing. All right, Jo. Well, I know people are going to want to find you, stalk you, and find out more about Aglow. But before we do, I know you are also a podcast listener and a business owner. What's something that you have listened to that you think would be super useful for our business owners?
Well, I know that business owners in this space love marketing, and there's a whole bunch of really cool marketing podcasts out there. To caveat this, like I work in tech, so I'm like listening to podcasts to go like, how do I grow my tech business to speak to my audience and engage them and all that sort of stuff. But I think that the lessons are universal. And so Marketing Against the Grain, which is hosted by the former CMO of HubSpot, who did really good, I think really good content marketing back in the day and still do. I think that they're worth giving a listen. There's a whole bunch of podcasts out there on marketing that are super interesting. So if you're not listening to podcasts for marketing purposes, there's so much good stuff out there.
Amazing. All right. Where can we find you on your dub and your socials, Jo?
So, getaglow.co is where it's all at. You can reach us there and sign up to Aglow. And for me personally, jo@getaglow.co, which is nice and rhymey, is my email address. It's J-O, by the way, not J-O-E. And or LinkedIn is probably my other place for hanging out. I don't really do a lot of the socials.
Amazing. All right. I really appreciate the time that you have had for us to share like the future of the industry in terms of cash flow, loyalty, locking people in. I think it's a good go. So appreciate your time, Jo. Okay, you're excited to increase your revenue? I'm a big believer that you should never discount or devalue your services and always offer a cherry on top. But memberships are the best way to create guaranteed cash and hold the value of your services while also making it affordable for your clients to come in and even spend more. Because even in today's economic environment, people are still paying for Netflix, gym memberships, that extra coffee. So why wouldn't they pay for a beauty service or membership too? It really is a win-win for all parties, I believe. Thanks again, Jo, for joining me on the Salon Owners Collective podcast. It was super lovely to catch up with you again. And if you're ever looking for ways to grow to $1 million in your salon, or you need support with growing and developing your manager, make sure you click the Apply Now button in the show notes of this episode. Let's hop on a strategy. Let's see if I can help you grow your business. Okay, same time, same place next week. Look forward to catching up with you then. Ciao for now.